Hello, welcome to the Michael Eure Show. Today we are really excited to have Detrick Clark from DHIC. He's going to tell us a little bit about that, but first tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me here. As you said, I'm Detrick Clark. I'm actually the Family Services Coordinator at DHIC Incorporated. A little bit about myself. I'm originally from Rocky Mount. I'm a graduate of St. Augustine's University. I live in Wake County. I'm married, I have 2 kids. So consider myself a community advocate. I've worked in the nonprofit sector pretty much all of my career, and I'm just happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. And Detrick, I remember back many years ago when you were interested in real estate, and now you're kind of in that kind of a position.
Yeah.
And your nonprofit's helping people. It's wonderful when you can marry what you want and help people at the same time. So tell us a little bit about DHIC and what it does.
Sure. DHIC is a nonprofit organization started in 1974. So it was kind of the city's birthed out of the city's initiative to help affordable housing. It was a successful model, so from there it became its own entity. So we've built over 40 communities in that time span, somewhere around roughly over 3,000 units. We also connect people to home ownership opportunities. So it's a wonderful organization. We're not just developers, but we have a component called resident services, in which we connect those residents to the resources they need and build strong partnerships to do so. Okay,
so tell us a little bit about your reach. Do you reach Wake County or the whole state of North Carolina, and how do people get connected?
Mm-hmm. Certainly, we certainly it initially started pretty much in downtown Raleigh. So DHIC used to stand for Downtown Home Improvement Corporation, but since then we've expanded beyond Wake County, and we're in 9 counties currently. We do a lot of work throughout the state of North Carolina in terms of affordable housing. So we do affordable housing, we do senior housing, and supportive housing. A lot of our properties, are in the Wake County area, Chapel Hill as well, Durham, as well as we have some other properties in the pipeline that'll be coming, available, or at least start construction soon.
All right, and the audience, you can ask questions if you like, but for now, tell us about your Washington Terrace. What is Washington Terrace and what will you be doing there?
Very good question. So Washington Terrace is a very unique project for the DHIC portfolio. So it is a 25-acre property that's adjacent to St. Augustine's University. So it sits between St. Augustine's and Raleigh Boulevard. So it kind of fits in that corridor. But what's unique about Washington Terrace, it was originally built about 50 years ago. So it was built in 1950. It was the first rental community for middle-class professional African Americans where they could rent. So a lot of your early black leaders were birthed out of that community, including Clarence Knightner, the first mayor of the city, black mayor of the city of Raleigh. So what we're doing in that community, right now we have about 100 families that call Washington Terrace home. We redeveloping that community, and we're expanding that to about 162 families. But in addition to that, we're also bringing in a ton of other amenities, including a senior facility. So there will be 72 senior units there for seniors as well, for those that are 62 and older. And what's awesome about this community is we've been fortunate to participate in what we call the Strong Families Fund. So what that is a national collaborative of nonprofit organizations and developers that are part of a 10-year pilot program to see how wraparound services affects housing stability. So within that community, some of the things or the amenities that we'll have will include like a 5-star child daycare that'll be on site as well. So this work is beyond Raleigh, because it'll become a national model for others to follow, just to see how those other added services impacts people's lives over a longer period of time. So my role as Family Services Coordinator is to basically provide resources and engagement with the residents by building strong strategic partnerships and leveraging those to provide programming and other resources for those families.
And we're going to talk a little bit about Wake Tech since we're here, and
Certainly.
I know that you've met with Richard Sullins and you've met with the Weldon people and
Russ,
Russ, and he may be over. And tell us about what you want and how some of these programs might be implemented through the school.
Certainly, we're excited. Some of the things that we'll be measuring over this 10-year period includes like health and wellness. It'll include, work income assets. We'll be looking at community engagement, education. From my experience working with the community college system in the past and other positions as well as the four-year universities, we see those as a invaluable resource and tool, for the community. So I think a lot of the things we're looking to impact, I see Wake Tech being a strong component and ally and partner in getting those things done, and providing certificates of completion. We'll have a daycare on site, so the opportunity to employ people, engage in early childhood. You guys have all the components that we're looking to measure and some of the things those families need, and meeting with the engineering and applied sciences, being able to provide some certificates for completion for those people to be able to find better employment, gainful employment, increases their income as well as their assets at the same time.
And I think that that's another gateway into associate degrees and even four-year schools, but first you got to get the people involved in school.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm going to give a little shout out to Wake Tech Online because we are the #1 online community college in the United States. So you're going to have a computer lab in
Correct.
is that your clubhouse or?
Yeah, so it's cool. So I guess how this development came, or at least all the components of it. We did a 2-year civic engagement plan with the engagement with the community of not only the residents that call Washington Terrace home, but the businesses and their neighbors as well, to figure out what should this neighborhood look like for you guys? Not just what we want as the developer, but we wanted to know what were you guys interested in. So through that work, the clubhouse, it'll have a fitness center in there. Residents have 24-hour access to that. It'll also have washer and dryer hookups. But the cool thing is the units will have washer and dryer hookups as well. That's something that the residents mentioned that they wanted. And then also another thing is we'll have a community garden where we'll be able to grow healthy foods for those families. And within that clubhouse will be what we call a teaching kitchen. We're looking forward to our relationship with the college here, where they can provide some leadership in healthy cooking as well.
Okay, we have a question.
Sure.
Someone wants to know, how many children will the Child Center accommodate?
Certainly. So we'll have 75 slots for kids, and a lot of people may be familiar with Methodist Home for Children. So they'll be the managing organization for that daycare. So the ideal situation is we want people to be able to work and play and live in that community. So even some of the staff that'll work there are interested in providing some housing for their folks to live there as well. But it'll be 75 slots for those families.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so the family will have some slots and some will be open to the community?
That's correct.
Okay.
So priority number one for DHIC is, we don't want to displace families by, any means. So what we're doing, we're building the community in phases. So phase 1 will be the 162 units with the clubhouse, the daycare, and then what we'll do is help those families transition over to the new. Once they move over, we'll demo where they're at and then start phase 2 for that community.
And I've had a chance to visit, and it is just such a remarkable upgrade from what it was.
Absolutely.
And I like the way that you're maintaining the people. by doing half of it and then moving those people over, and then you'll
Absolutely.
open up the new ones to another set of people.
Correct.
Now, how would people apply if they want to live in Washington Terrace?
Very good question. That's been a hot topic. Typically with most of our properties, there's usually a 2-year waiting list because their need for affordable housing is beyond, just our organization. There's a great need not only in Wake County but throughout, the nation. So what we're doing is directing individuals to our website, which is www.dhic.org, and through there they can look under the development tab and enter their first, last name, phone number, and email address, and from there we'll put them in our database. Once the application process begins, we will then disseminate that information through that list of people. We have a list of about 800 people so far that are interested in more information. So we're excited, and we do have other products and projects that are in the making as we speak.
We have another question.
Sure.
What will be the ages served in the child care center, and what is the qualifications for the senior? You have senior apartments too, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
So in terms of the daycare, in terms of the ages, I think it starts as low as 6 months old, and then it'll increase as that need is there, but the lowest age is 6 months. As it relates to, what was the other question about
the seniors?
Senior.
Yes.
So seniors, it'll be 62 and older.
Okay.
is what that community is set for. And these units, in terms of cost-wise, all of them are set to be affordable. They'll have really low rates because I think there'll be some 40% units in there. So even just to put in perspective, some current seniors that there's a large population of seniors that are within the 100 families that are there. They could be paying the same, if not less than what they pay when they move into the new. So, we're excited about that.
All right. So for our students, because you have properties throughout the area, it's not just Washington Terrace.
Correct.
And the waiting list is what they would need to get on for that. Is that what you explained earlier?
Yeah. So each property, we're just we're the developers and owner of the property, but each property has a property manager or a property management company as well. So what I would encourage people to do is visit the website. There you can see all the properties that we own, and then from there you can reach out directly to the property managers to figure out what that process looks like for you.
And during the hurricane, when the governor spoke, he talked about affordable housing and the need to build more affordable housing in those affected areas and to elevate it from the floodplains.
Certainly.
Do you see that as something you might do, or do you have any properties in that region?
Yeah, we do. We have a property in Pamlico County, which during our meeting earlier, it was, affected by the storms slightly, not greatly. But the cool thing is DHIC is part of a larger network called NeighborWorks America. So they provide a lot of support and funding for a lot of the work that we do. So they're a key partner in bringing resources to those families that are in need. In terms of affordable housing, it's a great need for providing affordable housing. It's a crisis if you ask me in terms of what the need is. So we're certainly always looking for opportunities to provide some leadership in providing some housing for those that are in need. So we like partnerships. We're working not only on the Washington Terrace, but we have other projects, one in Durham called the Willett Street Project, which is with Capital Broadcasting, City of Durham. I think that'll provide over 200 units there on Main Street, as well as the Beacon Ridge site, which is right here in Raleigh. That particular project is in conjunction with the Y. It'll be a school built there. It'll be a Y that's pretty much almost constructed, as well as affordable housing. So people will be able to, not only go to school, but connect the resources. And the cool thing about the Beacon Ridge is what we call a purpose-built community. So it is one of 16 in the country, and then the Washington Terrace project is one of 6, where we'll be, measuring and tracking this information information to help families and make it a national model for others to follow.
And there are going to be some people that want to talk to you because they've seen you.
Sure.
So how do they get directed? Do you have a direct phone number or email they can get you?
Yeah, if they visit the website, they'll be able to get my information. But my email address is detrick@dhic.org. So that's DETRICK@dhic.org. We also have a number, where they can call once they go to the site to get any information about the Washington Terrace project. We're really excited because through our civic engagement, one of the things the residents mentioned was having a neighborhood reunion. So we brought a committee of individuals together and kind of planned that. And what we've come up with is actually an event that'll take place this Saturday at Lions Park. So it's, we're basically bringing in vendors. Wake Tech will be there, providing some assistance and leadership there. But we'll be, have good food, games, share some information, resources with these families, and we'll have some giveaways, and we just want to have a good time. So.
And I'm happy to say we're going to have these Iron Man comic books that is donated from our welding department, and they want to make people know about that career, and they also want women in welding. So that's a good thing. And anybody else at Wake Tech that wants us to give out information, please give it to me. And I will actually be at the booth from 4 to 7 if anybody'd like to come by at Lions Park.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that, and Lions Park is just is adjacent to St. Augustine's University, as well as the new Washington Terrace project. So we're really excited about that. And we'll have a host of vendors out there. We'll have Pelicans Snowball will be there passing out snowballs. Games for we'll do horseshoes. We'll have a ton of things to do for families.
Okay. Do your properties accept Section 8 vouchers?
Yes, very good question. Many of our properties do take Section 8 vouchers, so we do accept those.
And is it basically sliding scale? Is that how you determine how much people pay?
Well, in terms of people in Wake County will have options between the city has a voucher as well as the county. They determine based on that family's need what that amount is, but what we've been told is typically they don't like to see families spend over 40% of their household income on rent and utilities, or rent rather, because at that point is becomes like an unstable situation. In terms of our pricing for our units, everything is set. But if we accept a voucher, say for example, if your rent is $800 and your Section 8 voucher is $700, then that resident or tenant is expected to come up with that difference of that $100. But you may have a similar situation where a person is getting $300 and then they have to come up with the remaining $4. It's based on household dynamics more than anything.
And $700 is a really low amount for the Raleigh. I know that.
Yeah,
the daycare, how does the income affect the entry in the daycare and your selection of who can be in the daycare?
Certainly, I would say the ideal is that those that are lower income, it would be ideal. The preference that we have initially is that the families that currently live there will have some priority before the rest of the community. But in terms of entry based on income, that's not a factor.
Okay. Because it will be sliding scale as well.
It's kind of like vouchers as well. So daycare may be say 2 kids $500, but one family may have a voucher of $350, so they come up with the remaining. Another family may have to pay that total cost, but it's all based on household and individual income.
And we'll follow up with our Office of Student Advocacy and Support, because they kind of help our students with housing, and the lady's name is Mariel Clem, and I'll make sure you meet her and maybe they can connect. Also, tell us about volunteer opportunities. I know that NC State is working with you, but I'm certain Wake Tech, we have an Office of Volunteerism and Leadership, and I'm sure some of our students, what kind of opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of volunteer opportunities. We have a great partnership with the Dream Center. You know, those guys kind of took it upon themselves to go to the community out at Washington Terrace and adopt a block. So they literally will come in, they'll bring a basketball hoop, meet the kids after school at 3:30 or 3 o'clock, entertain them, play ball with them, feed them, give them snacks for 2 hours, and then they leave. But they also, you know, are engaged to the point where they are will be providing welcome baskets for those families when they move, so it'll include all the necessities of dishes and bath towels and everything they need. So we have a lot of partners that we work with, but what we're doing is expanding that partnership. For example, we're working or will be working with the Boy Scout, so we want to provide some programming and some direction for the youth. In addition to that, because of the community garden, we'll be working with Grocers on Wheels, and what they do is basically provide healthy produce packages for families that are in food, deserts or areas where food is limited. So we provide programming around that. We're excited about working with Wake Tech and so many facets of the work that we'll be doing. But we're looking for partnerships, and what we do, we don't necessarily determine what that program or what that need should look like. We kind of rely on the residents to tell us what they're looking for and what they want, and then we go out and find the partners to make that happen.
Okay, Robbie has an opinion, and
Sure.
He says he wishes you were building more in Durham. That they have a great need.
Yeah, I agree. So with the Willow Street project, I think it's 204 units, I believe. They'll be right there on Main Street. So we're excited about that. Getting that work underway. I used to work in Durham, so I know the city very well, and done a lot of great work in Durham through self-help, MDC, and these other organizations. So I think the big thing with bringing more affordable housing to areas is everybody understanding there's a need there, and and being able to fill that need.
And I'm just going to thank Joyce Stevens for tuning in. She's retired from the Centennial Magnet Middle School over on NC State Centennial campus, but she is a St. Augustine's graduate.
Oh.
So she's shouting out to us, and we're shouting back to you. Thank you for tuning in.
She's so proud of you.
We're proud of her. Yes, and she'll be a great volunteer for you as well.
Absolutely.
She does a lot, and she was a teacher and accountant. She knows what to do with middle school young people.
And we have a great partnership with an organization called Homework Haven, and they just have an awesome story. They took it upon themselves again to start working with the youth over there, helping them complete assignments and homework. They started in the back of a barbershop, White's Barbershop. Okay. They went from there to a vacant unit on the Washington Terrace property, and now they're going to have some space within that clubhouse to continue to help those students, complete those assignments and kind of advance themselves. So, there's opportunities to work with that organization, as well as, we're going to have some public art projects that'll be coming, soon, where we want to incorporate the history of that community there as a permanent stake. So we'll be creating this monumental statue to kind of emulate that, as well as put some community art throughout the community as well.
Okay, and then we want to kind of ask, because you want to get your residents that are on the lower economic status up. So
Correct.
How do you're doing this through education, and you might be helping them find employment,
resume preparation,
okay.
Just connecting them to opportunity. Sometimes it's just a lack of information, knowing where the job fairs are, when they're taking place, and just leveraging, because what we've seen is a lot of our residents have some college experience.
Okay.
So it's not that the drive and the intent is there. What we find is there's other obstacles that get in the way. And I think even with the Wake Tech, I was a few weeks or a month or so ago was here for the governor came and he was announcing the initiative to
Finish line grants.
Right, yes. And that's kind of similar to what I think a lot of people should look at. That model is because, I'm not going to finish school or complete my degree if I'm worried about what I'm going to eat, if I'm worried about rent, where I'm going to live. That stuff becomes less of a priority. So if you can kind of help overcome some of those obstacles, I think people will become more successful.
All right, and Flo from our early childhood education program wanted to know who was going to be managing the clubhouse, and she may be meaning the daycare, and I know you talked about Methodist Home, and I know they do great work, but our early childhood students need to go out and do practicums. Do you have an idea of how they would be going about doing that?
Yeah, so basically Methodist Home for Children will be managing the daycare, so that'll be totally their operation on site. Of course, we'll have some help as needed as the owners of the property. In terms of the Washington Terrace property in general, that'll be managed by CMC, which is our property management company for that location.
Okay, and someone wants to know, what is going to be the percentage of slots that are available for children of color?
In terms of that, I would tell you right now, probably 98 to 99% of Washington Terrace is African American. Okay. Of course, the surrounding community is a little more diverse than there. In terms of that, we're not setting any number for any particular race or type. It's those that are in need.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask you. Joyce Bailey Stevens. Thanks, Mike. Thank you. I have another question, because you have been on quite a few trips. You went to Los Angeles, and you take sometimes your residents with you on these trips. Tell us, what is the purpose of the trips, and why do you take residents?
So, we're part of a large network of other organizations that do similar work throughout the U.S. and even beyond the United States. So one of those is the Corporation for Supportive Housing. So they have events and seminars and things all over the country. And then there's another one, which is NeighborWorks America as well. So what we'll do, we're actually headed to Houston later next month, and we're bringing a few residents. One is Mr. Jimmy Snellings. He's a resident of Washington Terrace. He's been there. His family has connections there since it's been built. As well as we have a young mother with 2 kids. We're taking those guys on these trips, and everything is paid for by DHIC. I mean, hotels, food, per diem. It's not a cost burden for these families, but we're part of what we call the Leadership Institute. So what we want to do is bring in those families to provide some leadership skills for them, so they can go back into the community and provide that to the rest of the community as well. I
love it. Now we're going to be winding down in a little bit, so I want you to give your contact information one more time, your website one more time.
Okay.
And anything else that we missed.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, again, our company is DHIC. Our website is www.dhic.org. Through there, people will be able to see all the properties we have, all the things we offer in terms of an organization. They'll be able to access our home ownership center information, which we help first-time home buyers purchase their homes, as well as provide other financial education for those individuals and families. And again, if there's anyone out there that has any connection to the Washington Terrace community, we encourage them to come out on Saturday, September 22nd at Lions Park between 4 and 7 p.m. To have a good time. We call it's a family affair, so we encourage those to come out and have some food and play some games and just kind of reminisce about the history of the community and what it has provided those that call it home.
Okay. Well, I think that you have gave so much information, and for the students, I really want you to consider this as one of your volunteer stops. It's also a good place for you to get possibly some employment, particularly early childhood graduates, because if you have a daycare, you need people that can work with them.
Yeah.
And I guess your other properties, do they have opportunities for employment too?
I mean, every property needs property managers. They need maintenance managers. They need, technicians. They need, and then not only that, for a small business owner, there's opportunities because we have to maintain, these beautiful units and apartments and houses and homes as well. So,
well, I am really happy that you came, and we're going to really try to work with our innovation and effectiveness area with student services and the academic area, as well as workforce and continuing ed, because Wake Tech is a very comprehensive institution, and we can help in many different ways. And thank you for involving us, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, everybody have a nice day, and we'll see you back next month. And our guest will be Renee Daughtry, who's an engineer at Cisco Systems Research Triangle Park. And he'll be talking about careers at Cisco and general technology. Thank you.